Well, the start then of the MX-2 first race here at Fermo. It's the final round of the FIM MX-2 Motocross World Championship. And straight away, look like Tommy Searle and Jeffrey Hernings out front as we're on board with Ken Roczen. And Tommy Searle trying to maintain that pace at the head of the field and goes through on Jeffrey Hernings. Just behind them, it looks like, is that the number 7, Arnold Tonus there in third position, maybe? So the three fastest riders from the qualification race then in the first three positions. Ken Roczen on the Red Bull Tech and Factory KTM. He's down in 7th place at the moment, trying to find his way past Joel Roulant on the Nostalgia Racing KTM, who takes a sneaky look over his shoulder to see that buzzing 125 two-stroke flying around the outside. Now as Roulant gets into difficulties through that right-hander, he's got Jake Nichols all over the back of him now as well on the HM Plant Red Bull KTM. So Kenny Roczen then starting to make progress up through the field. He's now got Jose Boutron and Max Anstey just ahead of him. Anstey trying to go up the inside of the Spaniard. And Anstey now, well, just being denied there. But Anstey looking to go around the outside and moves into 4th position. Ken Roczen trying to follow through as well from 6th. Will he go from 6th to 5th? He takes the outside line, gets a nice good drive out of that right-hander. Is going to get left behind though, up over the Monster Energy double jump. Bit of a stretch through there for the German, but he manages to hang on the rear wheel of the 17 of Jose Boutron. Roczen round the outside. This is on the middle plateau, a little bit tight through there. Will he get the power down here though? Boutron, does he get over? No, he tries to double from the inside. And Ken Roczen, still not able to get through there. A mistake though from Boutron at the top of the hill. And Kenny Roczen now moves into 5th place. So he's got Max Anstey ahead of him, then Tonus, then Hernings, then Tommy Searle. That's your top 5. Here's the fight for 6th position. Jordi Tixier, number 911 on the Nostalgia Racing KTM. He is just there ahead of the 131, Nicolas Aubin. So Aubin down in 7th place. Boutron still hanging on. Petrov's out. So the Van Beers Yamaha rider, Petr Petrov, having a tough time of it here in the first moto. Up the inside, Nicolas Aubin trying to find a way past Boutron. So too, Dylan Ferrandis. So Ferrandis goes through on the Bud Rockstar Love My Time Kawasaki. And that's not a bad ride for Dylan Ferrandis. Started down in 9th place, but he's gradually working his way up and down. Actually made 1 or 2 mistakes throughout the course of the moto. Joel Roulant is out. So the Nostalgia Racing KTM rider Joel Roulant has fell further and further down the leaderboard, not even going to go back to pit lane. Aubin and Nichols fighting over 6th position. So Jake Nichols on the HM Plant KTM heads uphill, gets a bit of a stretch on, going over that double jump and leaves the door wide open. The back end braking traction there, but he manages to stay ahead of the Frenchman, who now goes to the outside. Nichols drops slowly into that right-hander at the bottom of the hill, and Aubin reacts quickest, and he finds himself now into 6th place. So Jake Nichols drops to 7th, and Jordi Tixier down in 8th. Dylan Ferrandis circulating in 9th at the moment, and the Spaniard Boutron down in 10th. What about Pascal Rauschenegger though, down in 11th place at the moment? That's his best result of the season so far for him. Tommy Searle though takes the Monster Energy finish line jump. He wins moto number 1 here. And here's confirmation. Tommy Searle, CLS Monster Energy Kawasaki, wins from Jeffrey Hurlings on the Red Bull Tech and Factory KTM. Then it's Arnold Tonus, Max Anstey, Ken Roczen, Nicolas Aubin, Jake Nichols and Jordi Tixier. His best result of the year is that 8th place. Ferrandis 9th, first MX-2 score points for him, and Boutron 10th. Well, Tommy Searle can't do any better than the 3rd place in the championship, but the battle is on between Tonus and Anstey. 24 points separate those two going into the last race, and that was Tommy Searle's 3rd moto win of the season. Second board turns it. Their heads go down and the gate is about to drop here in the second race of the afternoon for MX-2, the final race of the FIM MX-2 Motocross World Championship. Nicola Oban goes a little bit wide going through. Tommy Searle keeps it nice and tight. So too does Jeffrey Hurlings as they crest the wave section and down past pit lane. And it's going to be Tommy Searle and Jeffrey Hurlings. They're the first two riders, and who's that down the bottom of the hill? Oban going into second position. Looks like Tixier in there as well. And Charlier's gone down to that bottom corner with about 3 or 4 other riders. But Tommy Searle picking up from where he left off. And it's Oban, then Tixier, then maybe Rauschnecker. Arnold Tonis there in 5th position, loses the front end. Oh, Max Anstey goes through. So the battle then for 5th place in the championship just got pretty interesting because Tonis cannot get that bike up from that position at the top of the hill. And just, 24 points between him and Anstey. So Arnold Tonis, a bit of a fight on his hands here to maintain that 5th place in the championship. Back with our leader. And Tommy Searle there, 100. He's got his work cut out here. He's got Jeffrey Hurlings breathing all down his neck. So we've got the KTM in second versus the Kawasaki of Tommy Searle. Our race leader, here is Ken Roczen. And Roczen, who came around on the opening lap a little bit lower down than he wanted to, down in 11th position, finds his way past Pascal Rauschnecker and goes into 7th place. Finding it a little bit hard work, but he's making good progress. He's now up into 6th, Ken Roczen. Whoa, tell you what, that was Jordi Tixier jumping right across the front of him there, the number 911 on the Star Jam Racing KTM. Rumoured to be the new rider in Red Bull KTM next year is Jordi Tixier, filling in for Ken Roczen, who of course is going off to America to play a straight there in 2012. And a neat move up the inside for Kenny Roczen. He was tripling down here yesterday, not able to do that now though in the main race. Conditions a little bit tougher, it seems. So Roczen then up into 5th. He's got Nicola Oban ahead of him, about 7 seconds ahead. So can he do anything about Oban then? Ken Roczen. Just under 25 minutes plus 2 to go. Tommy Searle still hasn't shaken off the challenge from the 84, Jeffrey Hurlings. And Jeffrey Hurlings gaining a little bit of momentum. Oh, Roczen's gone out. Well, Ken Roczen goes out of 5th position, and that does not look good for the German, the new world champion. The right side of the handlebar looks like it's taken a bit of a beating as well. Battle for the lead. Oh, almost off the bike there, Hurlings, but he recovers well and jumps down the inside of Tommy Searle. Tommy Searle just takes a quick look over his shoulder there. Well, he did this in qualifying yesterday with Arnold Tonis, so maybe Tommy Searle has a plan up his sleeve just to let Jeffrey Hurlings maybe burn himself out a little bit as he tries to escape the Kawasaki rider of Tommy Searle, who now sits in 2nd position. And if that were to happen, then of course Tommy Searle will pick up the pieces a little later on in the race. Here's a battle for 7th, and Arnold Tonis all the way now from the back of the pack. He's on the back of Alessandro Batic, who moves, he goes back to 7th position. Tonis goes 6th. He's got Boutron ahead of him, and this will put Arnold Tonis in 5th place, just behind Max Anstey if he can find a way past the Spaniard. Tommy Searle closing in with 10 minutes plus 2. Look at that, that gap has come down from around about 5 seconds. So Tommy Searle there did have a plan. He's going after Hurlings, up over the step at both. Oh, mistake there from Searle. Oh, and he loses the rear wheel as well and goes down. And that might have just cost Tommy Searle the overall victory here, because he needed to find a way past Hurlings. He's still got 9.5 minutes though, but in which to do it. But he might have just lost too much time there. Jeffrey Hurlings takes his Red Bull Tekka Factory KTM to victory here